at FishEZ on a Friday night. I know that you're taking time out on your Friday night to spend a little moment or two to chit-chatting, talking, sharing some thoughts on fish rooms here in FishEZ channel. So if you're watching us on replay, please do us a favor and hit the comments down below and just give us a thumbs up and also a little comment that you're on the replay so we know you're still alive. Some of you I know don't watch us on Friday night, but you're watching us on other places. Let's see, right now we're looking at, these are the male barbs, and let's just take a step back. Kind of looks nicer when you can see more of them. I love the reds in this group. It seems like everybody's got reds. Hi, Jeff. Odessa barbs are the masters of red, and they can get bright red to a degree that is just unbelievable. The rosy barbs here are not the red rosies, they are neon rosies, so they're kind of more of a orangey dull red. That's typical for them. And Benjamin Peters, hello everybody. Zen Ginger, howdy. We've got also some red pentasonus. Now, if you are one of my customers this week who came by and bought some fish for your planted aquarium, these striped fish right here that look kind of like tiger barbs, but they're not. You see these striped ones right here? Not that one. That's the ruby red. This is the pentasona, and I was mentioning that because I have some. If you're interested in them, I haven't started advertising them, but the pentasonas, they have like 5 bands or a faint 6-1. They get 6 bands when they get older. But take a look at what they look like. See, you can see them right there. Yeah, right there in the center. Okay, so those fish, these guys right here, you see how the striped they are? They're nice fish. Very peaceful. And they tend to shoal together. I'll show you the young ones. They're over here in this tank. And they're growing quite nice. This is what the juveniles look like. These are the ones I have available. And they're already, even at this young age, I think that they're already starting to become sexable. At least some of the males are starting to show some extra red in their fins. Hi, Red Laser, Ichthyus aquatics. Yeah, Odessa barbs are just one word of warning, just as most barbs are. So if you're raising them up, don't try to speed up their growth process by giving them high protein foods. Stick with the low protein and veggie pellets, lower protein percentage, and otherwise they'll get bloat. Barbs in general tend to eat too much. They tend to gorge on the food that's given them, and so they can sometimes bloat up. These little guys, very peaceful. They tend to shoal together. This would be really nice in a large planted aquarium. In fact, I'm going to take and keep for myself a good number from here and then sell the rest as a batch to somebody who would like to have a nice shoal of pentasonas. And then here in this planted aquarium, I might put them, let them grow out because it's so peaceful. They would look nice in this tank because it's got green contrast to a red body. I mean, the reds, the cardinals have red, the rummy nose have red, even the black ruby barbs. These are females only, but the males do get red and black. And so this, and then look at, we have also a couple of, as you can see here, a couple of cherry barbs. These are albino cherry barbs. These are the males. We're getting ready to breed those. I'm really anxious to give it a try. I've separated the males and females, and the females have been eating up. You can see the difference. Look at the females, they're fat. They're fat. ready to go. Down here in this little grow out tank. I've put this grow out tank together because I wanted to get a little, I didn't want to see what would happen if I had some rams in here. You've got electric blues, blacks, and then of course I've separated the male rummy nose. We're going to breed those too. Everything in its time. It's been a busy week here at FishEZ and also at the Fish Grow Out House. Aquarium.biz has been so busy this week. Got some interesting things to show you all. Hello everyone, welcome. Welcome to Friday night at FishEZ. Go with the Flow is now with us, and we've gotten quite a few numbers. So hit the thumbs up. A lot of you haven't done that yet. Just to kind of like, you know, get people to realize that we're live and we're talking. So we have some interesting things. One of the things I wanted to show you was a new set of fry. However, this set of fry is the same fry. Well, it's not the same fry. It's the same fish that we've been getting fry from like in the last week, right? It's the pandurinis, apistogramma panduros, also known as pandurini. Let's take a look at those. It is my excitement and my pleasure to tell you all that out of the 5 pair that we have established, all 5 now have spawned. And one of the pairs has spawned twice. And I believe tonight, that's the pair right behind me, the first pair has actually got eggs again. And one of the reasons I know she has eggs is because of the behavior. And you can figure it out pretty easy. Just going to show you where she's at, or where, you know, she's supposed to be. So for example, here we have a 10-gallon tank, and I make it kind of, you know, one of these tanks that apistogrammas just love to go running around. It's got all kinds of leaves, and the pair is always out in the front and center. Oh, black rams from Dan's. There's the male. He just appeared. He's the only one that's out. And so I know that she must be on eggs because she has been out all week. And I checked the pH on this tank and dropped it. And we put this inbox. I replaced the filter media in the box filter, and it's got peat in there, so it's dropped the pH in this tank so that the eggs could hatch if they were to spawn. And now why I think she spawned is because she's nowhere to be found. If she comes out, I'll be surprised. She wasn't out earlier, and I don't see her. So that kind of tells me that she's got eggs, and when she's coming in and out, in and out, in and out of the cave, that also tells me that she's got maybe wrigglers. They may have hatched. But then this week, how excited I am to show you that in our penthouse tanks, way up here, there's pair 2, there's pair 3. Pair 3 had babies last week. We knew about that. Hi, Josh. Yeah, 134s. We haven't seen any excitement out of them, but they're doing okay. They're just kind of growing, maturing. It does take a while. And then excited. Here's the babies. You could see them from last week. I think we had this spawn. You see them all over the place. I'm holding it still so you can see them move. They kind of like move in. What is the kind of motion? It's like little jerky motion. And then earlier this week, let's see, what is the 8th of August, the 68 days. So we had this one, I guess, last week, right here, about the 8th of August. This is pair number 6. No, pair number 5, I should say. We only have 5 pair. And what came out is a huge spawn, but you can't see him because you see her way back there? She pulled him back So we have some trip in right now and see if we can. It's a very large spawn. It's our first one. And I'm also pretty proud. The other little interesting thing, a caveat about this particular pair, is that the male has not lost his black smudge in the middle of his body like the other ones have. This one still retains its black mark. I love the black mark, by the way. It for the male, you know, the male's kind of like this one, just kind of fades out, the black mark in the middle of the body. But what I like about it is that it kind of has that neat eye look. Like if you ever watch the movie by J.R.R. Tolkien, The Hobbit, and then, you know, the different in the series, there's this eye. I forget what it is, but look at the eye on the side of his face, or side of his body. Females are got a smudge mark on the belly. Makes a big difference on how to tell them apart. Makes it very convenient, but the easiest way, of course, is the ventrals. The ventral fins are not black, have no black on them for the males. And the female back there, you can see she's got black and yellow. And she's chasing off another female. So here we go. This is the pair that just had a new spawn. And again, they're not in the foreground. Usually they're in the foreground, but for tonight, I don't see them. But there was a large, good size spawn, I would say, in this one. Last couple days, there she is. She's chasing. Those females are chasing each other, trying to get at each other. I find that very advantageous because they don't seem to bother. They don't seem to bother the babies when they're protecting the babies so much. Yeah. So let's put in some baby brine shrimp and see if we can get these guys to come out. The only, if the other pair does have eggs, I'm almost thinking this one is also going down on eggs. Her cave is right through there. I don't know if you can, there, she's coming out right now. See, that's her cave. So she's back in there. She's not staying in the cave though. So that almost makes me think that she may or may not have eggs. She went right back in. Okay, so she's going in and out of the cave. So she might have eggs. And so this is, I got my meter on this one, and this is, I just measured it. It's 5.7 and 30 ppm. So we're looking really good. Yeah, not a reflection. They can see each other. But as you can see, I put a divider right here up to a certain point. So halfway up the tank, they have blockage. The reason I like that is because the blockage lets them, you know, dine in peace. In other words, the babies can just, you know, be looking for food at the bottom, and the parents, only when they go up high, when they see what the other on the other side, they see past this blockage, that's when they tend to attack each other. So in other words, I give them an opportunity to chase away the other apistogrammas, but at the same time, they can have some peace. If they drop down below, they're not going to see. It's not a constant. So let's get some baby brine shrimp in there. I've got some on the works. Let me see. Yeah, I just de-shelled these ones. This is ready then. I use sometimes I can just do a strainer because it's one-handed. I like the strainer when I'm trying to demonstrate. This is my strainer I use. It's actually a oil separator. I got it, I think, at the dollar store or one of those grocery stores or something. I don't wish I could find another one like it. This one's really good quality. So I can just strain right away, just like that, and take it out of the salt water. And then the other nice thing is I can just carry it over, and I'm going to just dip it. Watch. So what we're going to do is for these two, we're going to put it in this tank. So I'm going to just kind of dip it. I come to the front, dip it halfway, And then it still has more baby brine. I'm going to dip it into this one, put the rest, and let's see if that draws them to the front. That should draw them to the front because, I don't know. Well, the daddy, he'll start eating. I want to show you the new ones. These are the new ones right here. They just discovered yesterday. Central Australia, welcome, and so glad you could join us. Yes, I know it's early Saturday morning for you, and that's sometimes why I start my live streams rather on the later side, because it allows early risers on in Down Under to come and join us. We have had a number of Aussies do that, and thank you so much for your support. It's great. Do you have apistogrammas yourself? And what are the most common apistogrammas there in Australia? Todd River Aquatics. So John, tell us what kind of apistos. These are, we're looking at apistogramma panduro. And there's the female right here. She's got her babies a little larger. They're a week older than the other ones. I'm going to put some, let's go ahead and put some food for the babies. Now they're already plowing away at these fry are definitely in on the brine shrimp. So there they are. This fry is over there near the cave. So what I do is with the caves are, I like to position them so that the hole or entrance and exit is semi-covered. In other words, not exposed. So I set it in such a way that this heater is sort of, I mean, from their standpoint, the heater, they don't know what it is. It's just a log. It's this piece of glass or whatever, but it's just sitting in front of the hole. Plenty of room for the female to go in and out. But it gives her a sense of, hey, I'm going down into a crevice, and then there's this beautiful cave at the entrance. And that really does a good job excellent job of getting her to feel comfortable about it. So what's going on here with this new pair? Let's see, these babies here are eating away. Let's see if these ones here are coming out yet. They might, if the brine shrimp goes to the back, they might just start eating back there. But it's great news to have 5 pair that are breeding, and we really like them. Northern Territory natives, yeah. I do have some Praecox rainbows here. I'm growing out. I do not know what part, where they're from, but the Praecox rainbows, that's the one rainbow we do have. I also have Pseudomugil luminatus. Hi, Fish Family. Thank you for joining as well. Yeah, I'm looking for this babies to come out. I want to show you how many there are, but I don't know. She's got them way back in the corner. So I don't know. Put my, let me try putting my glasses back on. See if I can see where they're at. Yeah, they're way in the back behind. So that's part of the design of the tank. It's got a big filter so that it's a place for the female to hide if she needs to get, total blockage away from. And the leaves help a lot. And of course, the leaves also they help in a lot of ways, not just little places to go into or get out of line of sight if the male gets aggressive for any reason. But it also it does bring down. These are leaves of the red maple tree here in Canada. We're located here, threadfins. Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot about the threadfins. They're right here. Let's take a look at those. They're doing excellent. We've got 1 male and 3 females. And these females, Really looking nice. So I put a mop in there a week ago, and I haven't taken it out just for lack of time. I haven't done much with that. But threadfins, I have raised many in the past. Now I'm just trying to get back into the swing of things. I'd like to get some. This male he's got 3 girls with him, and then we're going to go ahead and pull this mop and put in a new one very soon. And let's take a look at our Pelvichromis subocellatus. The subocellatus West African cichlid has been elusive so far. I have raised. I had a batch of fry, but then I think they ate the fry when they were ready to go back on eggs. So I didn't take them out soon enough, I guess. Yeah, if you have algae in your tank, I don't mind it in other sides. Look at this one. This one is it all over on the sides, but it's honestly, to be honest, I need to have the front glass clean. If you don't have the front glass clean, how can you take videos? How can you take pictures? How can you even see the state of your fish? And when would you find out when you got fry? Yeah, for that reason, I try to keep the front glass as clean as possible. These cichlids here, I'm hoping they'll go back down on eggs again. They raised about 130 fry on their first attempt, doing very well. These are dwarf acaras. That's why they are Leidacara curviceps, or flag cichlids. They got color too. They're amazing. When they color up and they show off their colors, they're quite amazing. Hi, Shady Gray. Everybody's just joined us. I want to say thank you for joining us. I'm going to go back just one last glimpse while I'm standing here. Here's the last group of Synodontis lucipinis. Looks like there's a few fish in there, right? Actually, you have no idea. They're always hidden. If I were to put in some food, they're gonna all come out and go crazy. I like to watch these fish. Right now I have this breeder box on the front only because I had to move them for the time being, but let's go ahead and let's see what happens. I'm gonna set the camera down, let you take a quick look at the super reds we've got. Super reds are doing well. Of course, it's focusing on the wrong thing. Let's see here. There we go. Green tiger barbs with super reds. And then I'm going to get a little bit of food. I'm just going to take a small pinch. Okay. I'm going to take a small pinch. And we're going to take a look at how many fish are in this 2.5 gallon. Okay, here we go. All right. I put it in there. Okay, so start watching. See what happens. Food goes in, and the fish come out. Now you get an idea. We sell every single lucipinis that we can raise. They are an amazing catfish. They are fun to have, fun to keep. And there's a good demand for them. We haven't ever had a situation where we couldn't find homes for these little guys. They're really neat. And of course, in the same thing happens in the parent tank. This is the breeders. But what I have in here is the breeders are kind of hidden away. And so in order to show them, I'm going to throw in a little bit of bug bites right here and see if we can't draw them out. I keep the light reduced because I find that they do better without the lighting. Okay, here comes the food, and there comes the Lucipennis. So these are the adults, and I keep them in a lower level of blue light. It also works well for these glow barbs. But yeah, there's a good number of Lucipennis in this tank. They stay hidden most of the time. We're approaching the full moon. The last full moon last month, I didn't get any fry, so I'm curious as to whether or not we're going to get some this month. Full moon should be in a day or two. These are fun. Okay. Let's go and take a moment. So, yeah, there's, that's one of the things I do too is, like, for example, when I take the eggs out of the egg trap for the catfish, there's always detritus and things that have fallen into the trap. I don't try to put them in sterile conditions. If I do, there's usually more problems. If they've got that, if they got detritus and detritus worms and all these things that are growing and living in the detritus, it gives them a small amount of microfauna to attack. And then I'll start with the microworms, and that will usually do a great job of sending these Lucipennis into a little larger size, just big enough to start taking baby brine shrimp. But it's important. It's sort of when you dump the eggs out and it comes out with the detritus, a little of the gravel sand. You know, leave it in there. Leave it in there with the eggs. Don't clean it out. So yes, the tank size for the adults. I don't recommend the size I have them in. It's too small. I have them in a 20 gallon long. It's too small. I would definitely go with something a little bigger for the adults. But I'm viewing it kind of a temporary because I'm going to split up I have enough of the adults in there to have 2 colonies. And one of the things that was happening was the adults were not doing much, and I split them up. And when I split them up, well, they weren't split up. There were 2 colonies. I had 3 from 3 different sources. And the colony that had been producing for a long time was, for a couple years now, just been producing, and then they stopped. So what I did was I took the other Lucipennis that I had from different source, and I just went ahead and mixed them at this point. And when I did that, it stimulated them and got them going again. But I still feel there's too many fish in that tank. If you're asking me how many there are in there, I'm ashamed to even tell you. But I'm going to be starting another tank because of 2 reasons. One is it's too many fish, and if I had them in a 20 long and I had just 9-10 fish, it's probably it's fine. I've had them like that for years, and no problems, no issues. But if I had more than that, you really need to have, I mean, like a 33 long. That's very hard to find, that 33 long. But something a little bigger, maybe a 4-foot tank, and that would be really nice instead of a 3-foot tank. And then, of course, hiding spots, but some of the hiding spots are just tubes so that when they want to spawn, they'll find the cave, and the cave is the one with the trap in it, you see. So that's been, I find that to be a good way to go. However, the second reason I didn't finish, the second reason is actually because never put your eggs in one basket. So you have if I have all my breeders in one tank, and for any reason we should have a pH crash in that tank, that will cause the Lucipennis to pass away very quickly. They're a Lake Tanganyika fish. They need to have it on the hard side. The pH should be like 7.8 to 8.4, somewhere in there, and that's where it's more ideal. But if you have too many fish and you're not doing the water changes, the pH could do a crash, and you won't know it until suddenly you see a Lucipennis doing this, just sort of mouth at the surface, and just kind of, and then it will just die, and then it's almost too late. You've got to do something about it immediately if you should detect that. You don't want to lose your catfish due to a pH crash. So that's words for those interested in the Lucipennis. Don't forget. I would also say on this fish room right now, this week has been a very busy week. We've got, I actually counted up, we have 11 spawns of angelfish right now. Looks like several koi and mostly platinums. And there's a marble over there. And we've got, yeah, mostly koi and platinums. And these are fish that won't be ready for the expo in September. So that's only a few weeks away. So these fish will be ready for the autumn, which will be more like October, November. So it's good that I have a good number of them. The apistogrammas we have are growing very nicely, but it's time to move them on. So I'm getting desperate. I need to get my tanks up and running. I've got, I went and bought the tanks. We have space for 4 more. We've got right here, as you can see, these 4 tanks are not in operation yet. I just haven't had time. It's hard cleaning 200 tanks and then do it 3 times a week, and then at the same time find extra time for little projects like, oh, you got to move that fish or take that pair. Today I was give you an idea of what like an extra project would be. I took out a pair of discus from a group that had paired off and put them in their own tank. Then I moved the 3 that were left into another tank, and then emptied 1 tank so that we can replace it with 3 20s, 3 more breeder tanks. That was just an example of what's an extra project. And then of course there's always those extra projects like these 4 tanks up and running. I did lose all my Daphnia in that 20-gallon below this week, and that was kind of sad. I don't know what happened, but obviously, you know, cultures do crash. So what I did was I just replaced 90% of the water and took out a little of the detritus, but didn't take out all the detritus. I want to keep it in there. And then refilled it with dechlorinated water, and then put in some green water. So now I'm going to just get that whole tank really dark green, and the moment it gets dark green, I'm going to shove in a scoopful of Daphnia once again, and they'll take off, because in a tank that size, once it's all green water, and they're going to just love it, and they'll start multiplying and bounce back. Now, I could not have done that if that was the only tank of Daphnia that I have in the fish room, but actually I have 2 small ones and the 20. I have a 20 and 2 5s. They all have in them Daphnia magna. And I use that for conditioning apistogrammas, any of the breeder cichlids, any of the breeder fish. I use it. I also use it when I'm breeding fish. I put it in the breeding tank sometimes. So again, it's the same story. I just will reiterate one more time. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. So this way, yeah, I immediately can make rectifications, and I'm not going to my friends at the club and saying, hey, I need more Daphnia, you know, mine died out. No, this way I've got, you know, another tank here I can get it from. So that's the important thing. Any questions? Yeah, my workload. Yeah, it's like every day it seems, wouldn't it be good? Would crushed coral be better in this instance? Well, yeah, you could have crushed coral and keep it hard. We're talking about the lucipinnis, right? And then, of course, the other suggestion here, I think, was to use live rock from saltwater to make the, yep, anything to do that. However, if in my case, my water is hard enough, so it's just a matter of keeping up with the water changes. So I don't need to make it too hard. I don't need to go too extreme, because if 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 I really wanted to just keep up with it, that I could just do water changes, right? But there is some benefit to what is being suggested here, and I'll tell you one reason why, and that is it can also be an indicator. If I put crushed coral in my tank and the crushed coral just seems to be dissolving so quickly, it's like, oh, it's disappearing, then I know that there is a pH drop and it's becoming more acidic and it's eating away at the crushed coral, right? That is one method of detecting it without having to actually have a pH crash. So not a bad idea. I think it's certainly worth it if somebody wants to do it that way. Electric blue crayfish. Electric blue. I'm not even sure what the electric blue crayfish look like. I have seen blue crayfish. Electric blue? Yeah, so if you had a 40-gallon, just to conclude, I want to mention this. We were talking about tank sizes for the lucipinnis. If you had a 40-gallon, that would be even better. I have found that there's not a lot of fish that do just superb with the tanks like that when you don't have African cichlids. If you had African cichlids, that would be awesome. You can put them in there. I don't have African cichlids, so if I ever did get them, I could probably think about putting them in with the catfish. It would all depend. If that were the case, I would need a much bigger tank, obviously, because the Africans are probably going to be big. But what I'm doing right now is I'm just utilizing the upper space for the male tiger barbs that I have. Some of the males and there's some male snakeskin barbs in there. Barbs, those barbs should be on the more lower pH side, but since I'm just keeping them in the tap water, that's another reason. I like the suggestion, however, of trying to just raise the pH, maybe use some crushed coral, and see if I get more production out of the colony. That could very well be a key factor. So, great thought. You're making me think, and obviously I just haven't had time to really pay a lot of attention to them, because I just go and check to see if there's eggs. They're sort of one of those tanks that's sort of not standalone. It's, what's the word, self-sufficient. I don't do a lot to it. I feed them, I check for eggs, and give them a partial water change every so often, and not a lot more do I mess with them. And I kind of keep them in semi-darkness, because they do better in the semi-darkness instead of bright lights. Okay, I think I got all the questions. If somebody asked a question and I just ignored you, it's not because I was ignoring you, because I didn't catch the question. Or, yeah. I don't remember on the threadfin rainbows how soon they hatch. Once I take the mop out, let's say every week I'm pulling the mop. That mop how many weeks before I think they're all completely hatched out. You know, in other words, what's the longest time period? So from the day I pull it out, it will have all hatched by how many days? Is it 3 weeks? Is it 4 weeks? I know it's a while. It's not like the egg scatterers that, you know, in 24 hours you got babies all over the place, and 48 hours there's free swimming and all that. No, it takes quite a few weeks for the eggs to completely hatch, and then when they do hatch, you'll see tiny, tiny little fry at the surface of the water. And we're going to set that up. I want to use one of these tanks right behind me so I can easily observe and watch for the new fry. But we'll set up a tank, definitely start putting in the mops, and we'll see how long it takes. Yeah, it'll keep the tank stable. Thank you, Jeff. Nice point. Okay, CO2 tank. If you have a CO2 tank, I'm looking at Zen Ginger's post. Yeah, that might be one cause of the snail shells and the other calcium deposits from kind of like dissolving. So you put your thread fin mops every 2 weeks and leave them in for another 2 weeks to hatch. Okay. All right. If that's the case, then I'm not overdue. So they've been in that tank for 1 week, just over 1 week. So maybe Monday. It'll be 2 weeks. I'll try that. I'll pull them Monday, and by then maybe I'll have a tank ready for them. And I want a dedicated tank just for them because the fry come out so small. And we'll do that. We'll get them going and see if we can't hatch out some of those thread fins. I've got 3 groups of mops. One group, June 17th, June 24th, July 23rd. Those are the dates, and so I haven't seen any fry. So I'm assuming there were no fry, or at least I missed them if they appeared and I didn't take care of them right. And for the prey cocks, that was pulled August 1st. Today's the 16th, so it's 15 days now. Let me just take a look. I'm going to grab my flashlight and we'll just take a look and see. I'm going to do one quick inspection here. We'll take a look at these and see what we got. If there's anything, I think it's time to give up on them. See if we see anything. I've checked several times. Nothing. And then this one, usually I see something move around in the water portion. I don't see anything. These are luminatus, pseudomugil luminatus. Again, nothing. Yeah. I think it's time to clean these up tomorrow. I think I'll get rid of these tubbies. I think it's been too long, so we're just going to have to start fresh and start taking and I'll pull the mops from over here. We've got the adults in the tank below, right down here, this tank down below. Behind these, there's a mop behind there, and there's also a mop in that small tank behind the jars. And luminatus are there. Kind of like, I feed them baby brine shrimp and everything. And I keep them going, but they probably need a little more TLC as well. Here's the prey cocks that I'm raising right now. They're looking good. Then I have some we have these are CPDs or Galaxy Rasboras. And over here too, we're going to get that breeding setup going as well. So they're all just poised. I've got a lot of poised projects here. They're poised because this is a subocelotus pair. They were doing okay, and then now they're kind of like showing signs of just wanting to kill each other, and they don't seem to be cooperating. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this pair. Might put them back into a community tank and just let them chill. And here is our beautiful mascara barbs, few Odessas, and a Macropinus. There's a few good-sized Macropinus. They're growing so well. Here's one right here. They get a lot of nice color on them. As you can see, they're not really a strong swimmer, so they're not a good candidate. I'll probably be pulling them out of this tank. The best candidate for the mascaras is other strong swimming barbs like themselves. Put in some good flow, and they make it look easy. They zip around like nothing, you know. If I were to just go ahead and put in a little bit of food, this tank goes crazy. Odessas have found the food. Oh, now everybody's getting into the action, you see. Yeah, but you'll notice the Macropinus, they're not able to keep up. So you can see these little sharks are zipping around, gobbling up everything. And the Macropinus are just like casually zipping about, but at a much slower pace, trying to get what they can. Yeah, so you got to think of terms of species that go well together, or species that can compete favorably in the same tank. And that's always a problem. For example, right here in this community tank, these barbs will they follow me around. So the moment food touches the water, you know, they got half of it down their gullet. But on the other hand, the rummy nose, they can keep up. They are so fast. They are zipping around as well. But what's in this tank that doesn't seem to be able to compete with all that is the electric blue ram. This guy, I don't know if he's getting enough food. He's certainly not looking fat, but he's getting some food, but he's just not able to compete. He doesn't get as much as everyone else. That's just the problem. So when I put some food up here and put some like here, look, you can see who's at the top. It's the competition wise. Okay. Hope everyone is having a great evening, a Friday evening. Neon red to logos last night. Oh, really? Oh, that's very nice, Jeff. Very nice. Very happy to hear that. Everybody, yeah, breeding success. Now, if we're going to get some deep thoughts here for just a moment. One of the things that I have found in breeding, if I were to list all the species of fish that we actually try to breed in our aquarium.biz business, I think it would shock me. I think it would shock me very much, because it's like there's a lot of species we've got in our fish room, and every one of them I want to try to breed and have success. Behind me though is like an example. I've got this tank here, number one. We did a breeding project, the black rubies, and I got like 7 or 8 fry. That's it. This one, we did checkered barbs. I got about 3. I've seen 3, so there's probably 5 or 6 fry in the whole tank. And the thought is, do you find that to be successful? I mean, a lot of people would say, yeah, that's successful, you know. I don't. I don't find that successful. If I had an apistogramma species that is reportedly only produces small clutches, if I had zebra plecos and they had 5 or 6 fry, I'd be ecstatic. That's success. Why? Because usually they don't have more than 10. So you have 5 or 6 and you're like, well, I'm glad I got 5 or 6 rather than 2 or 3. But if I put my Odessas together, and I have in the past, I had 2 tanks. This was a couple years back. I had 2 tanks. The same day I put 1 pair in one tank and I put a trio, 2 males and 3 females in another tank. And I got about 1,000 fry from the group, but I got 800 fry from the pair. And it was a very strange phenomena because that pair produced all males. Out of the 800, they were all males. And I still today haven't figured out exactly why or what it was that caused them to have only males. But the planets aligned and it was just one of those things. So I'm always in the quest of figuring out what I did, how I did it, and can it be something that can be repeated? Well, one day I'll discover the key. But regardless, it was interesting that I felt that was a success. You know, hundreds of fry, right? Of course, in the long run, to raise hundreds of fry like that is a really big challenge, because in the end, you're still, even if they only had 100 fry, if you don't have the tank space to raise that many fish properly and to allow them to grow properly and not stunted and not, disease breaking in because of the high stress factor. If you can do it, great. But it would have been just as successful for an individual who has too many fish to just take out 100 and dispose of the rest and just raise 100 based on what tank space you have. And then in the end up with 100 really good ones. That would be success. 100 would be success, because the fry you get out are going to be good fish, good healthy fish, strong. There's not a lot of belly sliders, or there's not going to be a lot of fish that are, what is the word, no growers, and that kind of thing. But with too many fish, that can happen. It's a challenge for us because with angelfish, sometimes their spawns can be super huge. But just to prove the point, when we had a large batch of electric blue rams, the ones you see here, I took out 50 of them out of the group, and the rest of them were there were probably 200. And so I sent 200 over to a 15-gallon. I put the 50 I had, I just had them in a small container for a while. And actually, the fewer fish grew faster and looked nicer and had less problems. So having too many fish is a challenge. You can have too many. So that's where it's very important. If you get, nowadays when I have an extraordinary large group of, say, angels, I might even split it in half and just put them in 2 different containers instead of trying to keep them all together. I might say, okay, I'm going to raise these fry, maybe they're just wigglers at the moment, but I see that there's way too many. I might just spread them out. And that way, it's like as if they spawn twice, and you've got 2 nice sized groups, even though they are the same group. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I want to know what you guys are talking about. I see you're talking about having success and what's considered success. Yeah. The Zen Ginger. Yeah, Zen. It's of course. If you're T shot. Yeah, mine came from Greg Sage also. Yeah, you must be in the United States. I was able to get mine across the border to bring them into Canada. If you go to Greg Sage's website, you'll see there is a source for Greg Sage Odessa barbs in Canada, and you just write to that email address. That's actually me, and I supply individuals who are looking for that particular line of Odessa barbs. So you could, I don't know, I showed the, if you didn't see the Odessa barbs, I was showing them off at the beginning of this live stream. So go back and watch the replay at the beginning, and you'll see the ones I have right now. They're young, and I'm going to start breeding them again in a little while. But I'm focusing on some other fish because I have a good number of Odessas in the fish room. Yeah. But what I wanted to point out was you're in the States, Massachusetts. Okay, yeah. So in 2016, I went across the United States. I was getting to California from New York. And then in 2018, I was coming from Los Angeles to Toronto. And so I was going to pass right by Greg Sage, Colorado. So I went by, and we were there for a visit, and I didn't get the barbs then because I was immigrating and I had a trailer full of my personal effects. But once we were in Canada, I went ahead and placed an order, and he shipped them to Buffalo, and then I just went across the border and picked them up because I'm only 1 hour from the border. So, but you'll have fun, those Odessas. The story with the Odessas is that I was pretty years ago, and I was pretty ignorant. I didn't know about Odessas, and I just came across them, and I thought, what a nice looking barb. And so I got it, and I was waiting to figure out which ones were the females, and only come to find that they were all males. There were no females at all. So that's because I guess a lot of breeders would send fish from, and I say breeders, we're not talking about individual breeders, we're not talking about people. We're talking about being the big farms over in the Southeast Asia. They would take these fish and breed them, and they would only send the males. And I guess it's because they're red and people only want the males. But anyway, I did some research online. That's when I found out about the Odessa barbs that Greg Sage had, and he would sell me females. So I had ordered a set of females from him when I was in California, and I put them with my males, and I was able to breed a lot of Odessa barbs. I got the hang of it. I figured out how to do it. It was fun. And then I had to get rid of everything when I was immigrating to Canada. So then I just had the urge to get back into Odessa. So of course I only went to Greg Sage, and I said, Greg, I want some more. And he sent some pairs, and he sent some paramecia along, and that's how I got started with the paramecia. He doesn't have paramecia now. He let it die out, but where he got it from is, I think, Carolina. And then he can just get it from me when he wants some. I'll just send him some. It's not a problem. He knows that. So when he wants to get some paramecia. So right now you can get paramecia from me at aquarium.biz at my store. And know about the Odessa barbs. The Odessa barbs, we don't sell a lot of them to stores because I tend to just keep these because they're from Greg Sage, and then that way when people want this particular line, I have them to share, so I can make them available to people who are interested in this particular Odessa barb. It's kind of hard. I don't think I can really compete with the Southeast Asia, and that's what I was getting at. This year, the number one fish that our business has done well with actually is not angelfish. The number one fish for our business is rams. Specifically this year, the biggest amount of money that comes in is for black rams. We have quite a few black rams, good number of pairs going, and all the time. And there's always a demand, and we always have them going. So, be that as it may, the rams are the number one fish this year, and then right behind them are the angelfish, and then of course there's others as well. We make money and on a variety of different things, and as you can see, we're now gearing up apistogrammas, and we know that these are very popular fish. So guess what? Coming up at the expo, we have a very special item this year. It's new, and we're going to be featuring this particular animal. And I say animal because it's an aquatic animal, but it's not a fish. And what is it? I have two samples I brought in. I know I talked about it last week. If you're new to the channel, you may have missed the conversations, but I'm going to show you what we're going to be offering. This is our new item. Let's see if you can see him. It's got little feet. This little salamander is an aquatic salamander, also known as the axolotl. It does not go out of the water. It's not something you can mix with your fish. They will just gulp down your fish very quickly. They have a tremendous suction. I brought in another one as well. Let's see. That one you were looking at has spots. And this one is one without spots. This is a leucistic. Let me see if I can get it to show. Here is the leucistic. Black eyes, pink gills that are on the outside of the body. And these will be made available at the expo. And they make interesting pets. A lot of people buy them for pets. They're actual wild, what's the word, native habitat is almost now completely destroyed. There's very few, just a few hundred left of these animals in the wild, and they are in a portion or some lakes, rivers area of in Mexico, and they, due to habitat destruction, do they become friendly? Yes, they actually can learn to eat out of your hand, and a lot of people, or a pair of tweezers, they can they can learn to come right up and eat. I haven't spent any time trying to train them. If they get near my hand, they go zipping away. One thing to keep in mind is they require a cooler temperatures. I can't keep them here in this fish room. It's way too hot. They need to be, this water here, is, you can see it's condensing on because I have them in the storeroom. And just to show you. Now, what I didn't show you is that these have also been especially adapted. These ones are considered special because they have the green fluorescent protein. You may have noticed they look quite yellow. Well, they're not yellow normally, they're just brown, but they look yellow because they have this protein. Now, I don't have a light to show. Let me see if I can. Let me just put them down here into this blue light. Yeah. See what happens. Okay, I know what I'll do. I have a light right here. Can you see them? Let's see if you can see them like this. All right, here they are. You can pretty much see them. Now I'm going to change the light on my tank to blue. Let's take a look at them. What happens if the aquarium you have them in is a blue light? They glow in the dark. Not in the dark, but they glow. So you can see, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but you can see look at this girl down here. She's like super glowing. Look at him. He's got some color, some speckles to him, and the glow is quite strong. So wow, these are called have GFP, green fluorescent protein, and if you take it off, they kind of just look yellow, but they look glowing when they're under a blue light or a black light. They're a lot of work for us because we have a couple hundred of these just like this, and we're taking care of them right now, getting them ready for the expo. It is a reptile expo and a fish aquatic also, so it's going to be quite interesting. Of course, I don't think that the reptile people will have these. There might be someone with these there, but these are actually they need, just like an aquarium, they need aeration, or shall we say, in this case though, there's only one per container, and we do 100% water change a couple times a week. So this way, if there's just one of these animals, it turns out that it doesn't seem to be much of an issue of needing to have air going. Or so if they were in a decent sized tank. Now they get up to with their tail and everything, I guess it's 12 inches, so they get quite large. So they might be, good size. And I've seen them at Ripley's, believe it or not. They have a display of these at the size that they're at. But yeah, so it would take an aquarium. You'd probably have a filter in it and so forth, just like you would normally treat fish. But the difference is you would probably set it up. You can't use big gravel because large gravel would tend to eat it, suck it up, and get it stuck in their digestive system. So you need to put them on very, very fine sand so they can expel it, or none at all. Bare tank is good too, because that's what they do. I'm going to put in a little Basileia. We feed them a little of this very high quality fish food. Also, they love bloodworms. So I'm going to feed these little Basileia. So now I got it in there. Now, if you see them eat, let's see if you can watch them. Let's turn the camera around. When they eat, you'll just see a big inhale. Yeah, you could use larger river pebbles that they can't swallow. Yeah, that would be fine. I have some river rock myself. It would probably be fine. They do grow a little bigger than this. These are just babies, so their mouths get quite when their mouths are open, they can just ingest big chunks. I would just tend to just go with the sand. Okay, he just now took a bite. All they do to take a bite is it's a big suction cup. Oh, he did it again. He smells it. Their sense of smell is very good to watch. Smells it, and then you're gonna just give it a big suction. See that? It's just like, yes. Yes, if you have a cooler part of the house, and in Fahrenheit, it should be no more than 73, 74. I just brought them into the fish room for tonight's episode just to show everybody, but I'm going to put them back in the cooler room when I'm done here. See how they kind of like, the suction is so strong that they will actually, and why we don't keep them together is they will not bite, they will suck off the arm of another axolotl, thinking like it's a worm, and they'll lose their leg. Boom. The most amazing aspect of this creature, however, is that they will grow back their legs. If they lose a leg, it could be a front arm or a back leg or anything, they just will grow it back. But we keep them separated so that they don't destroy each other. When they were smaller, they would even try to swallow another one almost equal in size. They get it. If there's one that's just smaller than themselves by a little bit, all they have to do is get the head into their mouth. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's sort of like betta fish, trying to keep and maintain all these betta fish in separate little cups. That's a lot of work. How they do it, I'm not sure, but they must have a system that goes fast because they're going to sit there in Thailand and they just go one after another, after another, after another, and they got so many going. And they got to do them all, But they're cute. They have expressions on their face, kind of like a silly smile. This one's eating away too. It's just a matter of preference as to which ones you like, the ones with spots or the ones that are plain. That's how they eat. They're quite interesting. Well, there you have it. Yep. Here he goes. Senses the food. I don't know how good their eyesight is, but I know their sense of smell is probably a lot stronger. And that's how they ingest their food. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, everyone. They make interesting pets, and they're all very educational too for those people who are into that sort of thing, reptiles, and they're aquatic reptiles. So maybe some parents might be willing to let their child have an axolotl because they're kind of goofy looking, but mostly because they can't crawl out of their container. They could jump out. They probably could, but the problem is they jump out, they can't walk away. well, before they dry up. They can walk, but if they dry up, then they're definitely not going to make it. So there you have it, the new item at the expo, and we hope everybody makes it. By the way, for all of you, just so you know, if you are watching this and you are part of our FishEZ team, there will be a specific code that will get you a percentage off of any item if we meet you or see you at the expo. I'm going to be giving that out in the next few weeks of what you can expect super deals we're going to be offering, and because we're going to try to move a lot of volume this year, and we also want to make it especially nice for those who have stood by us. I might even send out a special membership percentage off, so to kind of give back to you, the members of those who will be there, and you can use that at checkout, so it would be something that you can take advantage of. Anyway, so glad you could all join us for tonight. It's been an actually excellent evening, and we had several interesting thoughts coming through, and I think I was just going to wrap it up with a conclusion on what I was trying to say earlier, and that is you can get and build up way too many species, and some of the species that you have in your fish room are very time consuming for very little results. And so what I have found is that looking at them very carefully, the question is, to make things easier when you have 200 tanks, is what am I going to do to simplify? In other words, what fish are actually the fish that are doing the best for me? Obviously, we have some apistogrammas here that are just producing in high volume, and this is great. No issues. Other fish in the past I've had issues with, and I've never been able to get going, and so is it really worth keeping? Other fish, I can breed a lot of them, but there's very little value in them because you can get them for 50 cents, 75 cents from overseas. So a lot of shops are not willing to pay anything, and in fact it would cost me money to raise fish of those types. So that's why we're focusing now. Aquarium Biz is focusing this year on how we can relook at different species and to know which ones are actually going to be of value for the customers, for people who are interested in finding out or getting some really good fish without having to compete with overseas breeders, or shall we say farms. So that's it for the evening, and I thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate the thumbs up and everybody who was able to join us, and we'll be back again next week, I'm pretty sure. Same channel, and of course we know everybody is really been helpful. Thank you so much. Andy, too, you also have a great weekend, a fabulous weekend, and as you're taking care of your tanks, just be sure to enjoy them, have fun breeding fish, and above all, no matter what, of course, keep it real. Good night.